united. I hold you by the hands, every one of you in the spirit, and we move you forward. We move you forward. We move you forward. We move you forward. By the reason of the miraculous grace of God that is resident, vested in this place, your life take a turn for good. Your destiny take a turn for good. For the brothers and the sisters listening to me online, the same grace here we impart on you. For the sisters and brothers at the overflow, the same grace in this atmosphere we impart on you. From today going forward, every sickness that comes into this building will be swallowed up. Every deliverance condition that comes into this building will be swallowed up. Every stubborn case that comes into this place shall be swallowed up. The hand of the Lord comes upon you. I prophesy overtake.
Hello everyone, it's still Isoar Conference 2024, tag the 7th Deep. I remain your host, David Deborah, and I am here with a wonderful woman of God. Mommy, good afternoon, Ma. Please kindly introduce yourself to the audience. Tell us your name, Ma. Okay, Ma. So seeing that you have been part of Isoar Conference for a long time, can you please tell us about just a brief history about Isoar Conference, how it started, how it was in the beginning, so we all can have an insight of how everything started? Amazing. It started with a lot of expectations, and now we are in 2024, the 7th Deep. The theme of this particular ISOR conference is so unique. So, Mommy, can you just tell us a bit about something about the 7th Deep and how it resonates with our faith and belief?
The concept of the 7 deep is that there was a health challenge in the life of Naaman, the commander of the army of the king of Syria. And so he got this, should I say, an expo from his maidservant, and she asked him to meet the prophet. And then he gave him a prescription. He was supposed to go and dip in a river 7 times. And so, like, I have a skin issue. Why would I now go and dip in the river? Normally, people who have skin issues avoid water. And so he was told to go to this public place to go and dip. And it was like the things that we face. Different people tell us different suggestions. They have different opinions, different ideas of how we can get out of situations that we find ourselves in. And then the thing about this one is that it was straight from God. And when something comes from God, like, he's the one who knows the end from the beginning. There's no doubt in his mind. He is so sure, so certain of the outcome. And that's how we need to deal with him. When he gives us instructions, we don't have to think twice. We don't have to negotiate. We don't have to, like, think of what if it doesn't work, because we just know that it's going to work. And the same way it happened this time. And but then he was holding back because he expected it to go in a certain way. So these are one of the things that hold us back as Christians. When God gives us instructions, we expect him to work in a certain way. And when it doesn't come in line with the expectations in our minds, forgetting that he's not man, we just tend to play down on these things and we don't follow through. Sometimes we try to follow, and when we see in the space of time we have given for it to work that it's not working, we just draw back and then stop there. But then the reason we need to go on is that we don't get to our victory until we see that victory. We don't stop until we see that victory. And then stopping halfway is denying us of the things that are already planned and already given. And so that's just the thing about the work of our Christian faith. You need to keep pushing.
Stopping halfway is denying yourself. That is all the 7 deep is all about. Thank you so much, Ma, for explaining it so well for us. So talking about the 7 deep, we have already experienced 2 sections already. Yesterday evening section and today's morning section. Can you tell us how it has been? How it has been, the 2 last sections?
Okay. The night session yesterday, it was something else. I don't know about any other person, but it was as if he was talking to me. And that's the important thing about this conference. And by all means, any conference or gathering of God you choose to go to, your expectations have to be high. And you have to have an expectation. There's no point coming if you don't have an expectation. Like, what is God going to satisfy when there's nothing? So you come with your expectation. So when you begin to get met, you come with your mind already prepared. So when the Spirit goes forth, there is an alignment, there is a connection, and then it breathes upon that expectation in your heart. I was here yesterday, and like I was explaining, by the mercies of God, the preparations have been going on, like in the house. We had gone through some hours of prayer, some days of prayers. But it's not because we are better than any other person. It was just that we were following. And so, by means of that followership, the things that God had been dropping in my mind, the things that had been the current challenges that I felt he was trying to push me in a position to pull me out of, it was like Prophet Austin was in my mind. And he was just talking concerning those things. Like, he just watered down so much worry and so much concern, and it was a miracle. I don't know about getting an extra leg or anything, but that was my miracle last night. And then this morning, it was just, oh my goodness. When we read that story over and over again, we've read it, and then there was something said about wholeness. You know how leprosy is. It eats the skin, and then you get healed. Is that okay? The leprosy dies, but then those scars remain. But then after the 7th deep, we're not told what happened the first 6 times, but it was expressly written that after the 7th deep, he became whole. He was made whole, and then his skin was like a baby. I don't have leprosy, but I'm sure my skin is not like a baby. So he had something extra. That's why we need to follow through to the end, because there is always something extra that is attached with complete obedience. And really, obedience is not obedience until it is complete.
Yeah, obedience is not obedience until it is complete. So, Mom, you spoke about the pastor saying lots of things, instructions, words that came, prophecies, and the rest. Are there some things you would love to highlight to us to take note of, probably an instruction or something he said or highlighted during the service?
Okay, yes, I would like to talk about, he spoke about his personal experience with lust. And then he said something important, that he cried out. There was a difference between managing the situation and then actually crying out for help. He said that if you manage it, God will help you manage it. But if you cry out for help, then he can help you and deliver you and put an end to that thing. So that's something that we really need to do. It touched me because there are situations you're going through and you just believe that, okay, it's under control, it's under check, but it's still there. Every now and then, the enemy rears his ugly head through that, and then God helps you to overcome. And I thought that was like, okay. But then I got to understand today that beyond that, there's a complete deliverance. I mean, David was with a young damsel, the David that we all know, that was, very hyperactive when it comes to the female folk. And he did not even touch her. He didn't go near her. She came and all that, but it was dead. The loss was completely dead. So that is where I believe I am going to be at the end of this conference. So I look forward to that with so much joy and so much expectation. And then something else is that I spoke about instructions. There are certain things that you'll be asked to do. There are certain things you'll be inspired to do. And they may not make sense. Like Elisha told the widow to go and borrow pots. She needed oil. She didn't have oil. Go and borrow pots. What am I going to do with empty pots? Jesus told the people at the wedding feast to fill up the water pots with the water pots with water, and they needed wine. Some instructions don't just make sense. But then, you are not the one going to do it. Just follow. Follow the instructions and believe God to come through for you. Don't think about any other thing, whether it's logically sound or anything. Just follow. And that's, he said, was where his testimony really started in his transformation as he found Christ.
Just follow. You don't have to think about it twice. You don't have to struggle. Just keep following. Thank you so much, Ma. So what's your advice to people following us online, our viewers online? What's your advice to people connecting from the online space?
Okay, I don't know if they've been here from the beginning. I don't know if you've been listening from the beginning, but these things that I've said now are the things I have for you as a piece of advice. First thing, let your expectation be in place. If you're just tuning in, or if you're just hearing, or if you even started but without an expectation, you stand the risk of robbing yourself of what could be yours. So get an expectation in your heart, and as you pray, just believe that that expectation is going to be met. You are going to be made whole. And the second thing is, be attentive to hear what instruction is going to be coming to you. It might not be a general instruction. It might be individual, it might be specific, it might not be. But there will be something that will be said that will reach into you and touch you, inspire something in you. Put it down, document it, write it, and pray and follow it. Those are the things that I would like you to do. Just have an expectation. Listen, be sensitive for an instruction that will come to you to change whatever situation or to let that expectation be met. And then document it. Document it. Let your faith be in place, because the God that is here, active and present, is the one who never fails.
As you heard, document it. Have an expectation. Be hungry. Remember, distance is never a barrier. But if you can make it here, make sure you try as much as possible to be live. This evening session is going to be power-packed, and I know, I'm certain that if you are here, if you are connected to us, your life is never going to remain the same. Thank you so much, Ma, for having this.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. Thank you, viewers, for tuning in. Thank you for following us live. It was an amazing time, and I hope to see you this evening. I hope that you connect this evening. Remember to stay connected. Bye.
I hold you by the hands, every one of you in the spirit, and we move you forward. We move you forward. We move you forward. We move you forward. By the reason of the miraculous grace of God that is rested and vested in this place.